For many of us who have love in our hearts, we wish for others to also experience that love. If you don't have it, look for love, because love is such a beautiful thing to find. If you find love, you find so much. You find peace, you find joy, you find happiness. That's what happens when you find love. And you should treasure it. Members of the squad, treasure it. And we wish for others to also have the same thing. Love inside their hearts. Because love is so beautiful, it's so precious, that when you find it, you must be able to protect it. When you find it through a partner, because some of us, we all have love inside of our hearts, because that comes naturally to our human hearts. For hate, you have to learn hate. Love comes naturally to your heart, members of the squad. So what am I saying today? The thing is, the royal cult that calls itself a family calls Prince Harry and Meghan much loved members of the royal family. That's what they say. But the thing is, they don't show it in actions. Because for you to love one another, you also have to show it in actions. By your words. By how you feel for another. Love is shown in action. In action. And the royal cult that calls itself a family has never shown the love they claim to have by calling Prince Harry, Meghan and Archie much loved members of the royal family. And why am I saying this? The thing is, day in, day out, Prince Harry and Meghan are constantly disrespected by the tabloid media and the farm itself. I mean, we have heard even of the likes of Edward Young actively sitting at Ravik and not articulating Prince Harry's wishes or paying his own security to Ravik to protect his wife and children. So the royal family, the royal cult that calls itself a family, is also actively putting Prince Harry and Meghan in danger. People they claim to be much loved members of the royal family. Members of the squad. For you to love someone else, you must show it through your actions. You must show it through your deeds. But the thing is, in the royal family, there is to so much hate, so much jealousy towards one another, that how can they know love? How can they? Prince William himself, the man who experienced pain with Prince Harry after losing a mom, has now done a 360 degrees and called and labeled his own mother paranoid. That's what Prince William thinks about his mother, his late mother. Perhaps it's because he also does the exact same thing that was done to his late mother. The harassment, the insults, the bullying. But this time he does it to his brother's wife, Meghan. I mean, the tabloid media itself, they've been so happy to tell us of all the names that Prince William has labeled Meghan. All the abusive, demeaning words. But guess what? Prince William is not under investigation for any form of bullying. Now, members of the squad, there are tweets by Caroline that I wanted to share with all of you. Because, it comes from Caroline because I grew an interest in these tweets. But there's something about it. I wanted to read it to you, but I never ever found the time to read it day in, day out. And I kept on pushing it day after day. But today, I want to share with you the tweets from Caroline. And this is it. Caroline said this: when Harry met Meghan, which I needed to get off my chest, 4 years ago, I set off to watch the wedding of Harry and Meghan at my dad's place. It was a huge moment for us, and we hoped for the nation and watching world. There was so much love, and obvious delight. We allowed our hope to triumph over experience how wrong we were. Let me pause there for a second on Caroline tweets. Why is she talking about experience? Now, members of the squad, this is what I talked about yesterday. About how the royal family, the royal cult that calls itself a family, treats the women who marry into the institution. For instance, right now, the royal family is actively trying to discredit Princess Diana's Panorama interview. I'll talk about that in our next podcast. And the thing is, right now they're doing everything in their power to erase what the late Princess Diana said about Prince Charles, Camilla, the royal cult that calls itself a family. They're trying to erase her words. They even expressed fears that Netflix might, talk about the Panorama interview. And the royal family fears, what they do fear is backlash from the public. Bad PR, negative press is what the royal family biggest fear. It is the royal family biggest fear, members of the squad. And the thing is, throughout history, the women who marry into the royal family are abused, insulted, but this time with Meghan, it's a mixture of insults and racism and xenophobia as well, members of the squad. Yesterday, I shared with you a history of the royal divorces that happened in the royal family. All of the queen's children have all gone through divorce. And then you have the so-called courtiers wishing and hoping for a husband, Prince Harry, to do the same thing to his wife. Because they were hoping the life of the spare will be miserable. And Harry said, no, I love my wife. I'll take care of my wife. Day in, day out, he continues to show the world that he has his mother's heart. That acts and pieces of many that believe in the royal cult that calls itself a family. Prince Harry is different. Prince Harry is not like them. He's just like his late mother, Princess Diana, a good person with a good heart. A man who will always stand by his wife and protect his wife. A man who chose love in his life. And there is no shame. I repeat, there is no shame for those that wish to choose love. Love is beautiful. When you have love, you must nourish it. You must cherish it. Members of the squad, and I'm proud that Prince Harry, the man himself, the father himself, has chosen to protect that love. The love for his wife and the love for his kids, Archie and Lil Petana, whom the tabloid media have waged a hate campaign against because they cannot control their racism towards Meghan, Archie, or Lil Petana. And members of the squad, as I've said, the royal family is already actively trying to scrap Diana's history, the words she said about the royal cult in the Panorama interview. And guess what? They'll also be doing the same thing, on what Meghan said in the Oprah interview. They'll do that. First, they disregard a woman's experience in the royal family. When a woman comes seeking for help from them, they tell them, no, it will look so bad on us. As Meghan went to seek help when the bullying got to her head, when the insults, the racism got and took its mental toll on her. The royal family told Meghan that it will look bad. You can't check in into a institution because it will look bad on the royal cult that calls itself a family. That's how much they don't like any negative press. But deep inside of them, they like bullying women. They like abusing women. They like telling them, you don't belong here, like what they told Meghan. And they still tell Meghan, despite the fact that Meghan doesn't even live in the UK anymore. I was thinking today, and one thought came to my mind. I think the royal cult that calls itself a family truly misses marrying from within the royal family, their cousins, their sisters, like how the royal cult, procreated. The queen herself married a cousin. So it's not long ago. It is not long ago. It happened. And to me, it feels like they'll never be content with any single woman who marries into the royal family. The system of the monarchy, the institution, the tabloids will never be content until you have the royal family, marrying its own members. Those are my thoughts. The only thing they care about, perhaps, is that they would love it if members of the royal family would marry their own siblings. Like what happened, their cousins, their nephews, their nieces. Perhaps that's what they like. Inbreeding amongst members of the royal family. They miss incest so much that any single woman outside, the royal cult that calls itself a family, all of them are rejected. Majority of them are rejected. For you to go in there, you have to be a robot with no feelings whatsoever. I mean, look at how they've turned Key Milton into. Someone with no feelings, no emotions, practically a robot who's told to keep her mouth shut, put on a dress, and smile for the cameras, for the tabloids. She's taught to put up with William's, abuses of, others. Like what they were happy, those Eton friends of Prince William that participated in sexist, making sexist comments and abusive comments towards women. And then Kay Milton was very quiet because she wanted to fit in. Meghan, on the other hand, said no. She stood up to those Eton friends, those privileged people from Eton in the UK, one of the most prestigious schools, expensive schools, but clearly it doesn't teach manners. It doesn't teach respect. And I'm glad that Meghan stood up to those people from Eton because their sexist abuse towards women, how they spoke about women, transgenders people, calling it jokes. Not jokes, they were insults and they were bullying, and that was the highest form of bigotry. And Meghan stood up to those kinds of bigoted comments. And I'm glad and thankful for Meghan, members of the squad. And, the royal family, apparently what it seems to me like, they just love it if they marry their own. From within, incest is what they practice for decades, centuries. And it seems to me like they miss those days, members of the squad. Now, as I continue, Caroline said this: there was so much love and obvious delight. We allowed our hope to triumph over our experience. How wrong we were. Those who damn those of us who give the couple the benefit of the doubt, that is Harry and Meghan, will never understand because they do not want to. Many of us liked Harry. Some of us knew Meghan. But what we soon learned provided evidence which helped form the opinion of her as a nice person with a history showing compassion, kindness, and a belief in equality. And it is that history of Meghan that the tabloid media, the firm, is working so hard to try and rewrite, to try and scrap and undermine Meghan's work long before she even met Prince Harry. And we must not let that happen. I've already shared with you, we cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen. Now, Caroline continued by saying this: the behavior of her detractors has been horrific to witness. Not just for her, but for us too. We don't know her, yes, and neither do they. But we do know our own experiences and that of our friends and families. We know when we get into positions of power, we often encounter quick resentment, not connected to our actual actions, but to our imagined intent. And whether in positions of power or not, we know that if we disagree, we are labeled argumentative. That is black or mixed race people or brown people. We know that if we get annoyed, we are labeled aggressive. We know that if we argue back, we are labeled threatening. We know that our children, if they disagree with our friends, are labeled bullies. Let me pause there. For just 1 second. Or just 1 second. Let me pause there for just 1 second. Members of the squad. The thing is, I've been thinking about this comment made by Caroline, this tweet, and that I'm reading to you right now. The thing is, if Archie and Lilibet Diana would have stayed in the UK, they would have been used as scapegoats for Charlotte, Lewis, and Prince George. I mean, we saw the stunt pulled on by Prince Lewis during that time whereby it was the Queen's Jubilee. We saw that. And members of the squad, think about if Archie was there. Who would they have blamed? Who would the tabloid media that cannot control its racism towards Harry and Meghan? Who would have they blamed? They would have blamed baby Archie and baby girl Diana because they are mixed race. The tabloids cannot control their racism. Members of the squad, they can't control it. They openly show it. And Harry, that's why he said, just because I experienced suffering, generational suffering, the cycle of abuse, Harry ended it. Cycle of suffering. He said, I'm the last. I won't let my children experience what I have experienced. That is what Prince Harry said. The amazing father, an amazing husband, members of the squad, a good man with a good heart, and that itself will tell you the type of person that he is, the type of father he is, the type of husband that Prince Harry is, members of the squad. And I'm glad that baby Archie and baby Diana will live a happy life far away from toxic institution. Members of the squad, they cannot control its racism nor hide its own racism. Now, Caroline continues by saying this. Some of us hold ourselves in, make ourselves smaller. Some of us hold ourselves in, make ourselves smaller, resist disagreements, don't push for what we want. We are not pretty enough. Our faces don't fit. We are not this. We are not that. We do all those things, but sometimes we can't stay silent. And then the accusations begin. Members of the squad, remember those bogus bullying allegations leveled at Meghan because she dared to speak up about the experiences, how she experienced the bullying, the racism in the royal cult that calls itself a family. Then she was labeled a bully. A woman with no history of bullying. Even her friends working at Suits that worked with her for more than 10 years, all of them called Meghan a good person with a good heart. Everyone that has ever worked with her has only but nice things to say about Meghan. Members of the squad. They even tried to get an editor of a newspaper, Sam Kashner, to say something bad about Meghan. They thought they wanted to write books about Meghan. Actually, they wrote books about Meghan. People that have never met Meghan in an attempt at smearing Meghan. And then you have editors, the people that they used, coming out, guns blazing, like what Sam Kashner did, and say that Meghan is a good person, and ask the tabloids to back off. Let Harry and Meghan live in peace. Members of the squad, do you realize how bad and how much of a failure your smear campaign has to be? That even when the people you use in an attempt at slagging off Meghan come out to say, no, that's a lie. Meghan is a good person. That's how bad the smear campaign is going for the so-called carnival, so-called experts in the UK, constantly targeting Prince Harry and Meghan. Now, so Caroline continued by saying this. We do all those things, but sometimes we can't stay silent, and then the accusations begin. We get described as uppity, even when in positions of seniority. Who believes that everyone working in the palaces gave her the respect that ordinary people would be afforded to someone in her position? As she, like Catherine before, was just a commoner before marriage. Those working there might not have approved or not wanted to defer to the new person's wishes. But that's the job. While I accept that nearly everyone has something they carry with them, some perhaps unseen scar. We have those things too, and then this on top. But we really hoped things were improving. The unfounded attacks prove they are not. When people say she lied, what specifically are they referring to? When? How? The wedding a couple of days before the elaborate ceremony? How many of us watched Myra on Schitt's Creek? Or Joey officiating the marriage of Monica and Chandler? I'm always flabbergasted in American shows when the vicar is indisposed for whatever reason and a friend pops up able to perform the legal marriage. Why is it impossible to believe that an American newly baptized into the Church of England might think the person of highest canonical rank in the very church might be performing privately a role of religious significance? Perhaps the church event to follow was the word display of that private joining together. Not something I would have thought, but then I grew up. To a large extent in this country, I've imbibed some of our essential rules regarding marriage. Then there's the issue of the unborn baby's color. Hard to believe for many, I hope and trust, but having had my own experiences, or a family member expressed their relief on seeing my child, that my child wasn't as dark as they feared when they saw the picture they'd been sent. I unfortunately don't struggle to believe this concern was raised. Caroline is a mixed race biracial woman as well. Now perhaps in Harry and Meghan's case, the skin color question was meant as a joke. Some jokes just aren't funny, and when it becomes clear they've caused upset, you as the joker have a responsibility to smooth the water. Then there is Thomas Markle. He's become an abuser. I'm glad the people are opening their eyes to exactly who this person is, Thomas Markle is. Thomas Markle is an abuser, and that's what he is. And yet, the abusive tabloid media constantly calls on him to also participate in the abuse towards Meghan, trying to emotionally blackmail Harry and Meghan, members of the squad. And that's why I'm even glad that Meghan said, listen, I have grieved. I grieve a lot, and I've lost a father. Meghan has accepted that he lost Thomas Markle a long, long time ago. Thomas Markle could have had everything, the love of a daughter. But he chose the likes of Samantha Markle, Thomas Markle Jr., who are desperate to catch in, to try and attach themselves to Meghan like a leech, trying to suck blood out of a person. People that have never spoken to Meghan for a long, long time wanted to speak to her because they were hoping to cash in on Meghan. And when Meghan said, no, this will not happen, the only person that I've ever had a relationship with is Thomas Markle. Thomas Markle Jr. and Samantha Markle were pissed off, and they were happy to join in on the abuse targeting Meghan because they believed they were owed something. And they made Thomas Markle himself believe that he also is owed something. And that's why Thomas Markle went on to say this. Thomas Markle said this, that, hey look, Meghan and Harry owe me. The royal family owes me. They owe me. Owe you what? Owe you what? Owe you what? I mean, we have heard Thomas Markle say that the royal cult that calls for family, just so know, they were planning on stopping the wedding. We heard that. He said that on TV. He actually said that. And that interview, they deleted it because Thomas Markle went off script to reveal the truth about what happened and how much of a disgusting, father that he is. And that's why I'm glad that more people are recognizing exactly who an abuser is. And Thomas Markle is an abuser. Meghan owes them nothing. Meghan went through auditions. I heard even in the Ellen interview, Meghan saying it herself. I went to interviews in my dusty, old car that somehow Meghan had to figure out a way to open it. Looking for a job. And yet Thomas Markle wants to be fed by Meghan, Thomas Markle Jr. Samantha Markle wants Meghan to feed them after all her struggle, after all her sweat. Meghan is the one that should feed them. They should feed themselves. They have hands. Go out there and look for a job. But they've chosen a job of slagging off Meghan, insulting Meghan for money. That's what they've chosen. And Meghan owes nothing to abusers. You owe nothing to an abuser. You owe nothing. You owe nothing to an abuser. Stay away and keep your distance from abusers. And I'm glad that Prince and Meghan have done that. Stayed far away from abusers. Caroline said that then there's Thomas Markle. He's become an abuser. How often do we tell the victims of abuse that they have an ongoing responsibility to their abusers? That is what the tabloid media have been telling Meghan, trying to emotionally blackmail her. Meghan, go see Thomas Markle. Meghan, do this for him. Meghan, do that for him. And then they are so happy listening in on their TV screens as Thomas Markle abuses Meghan. So happy when he reaches out abuse towards Meghan. Like you say, Thomas Markle called Harry this and that, insults. Insults and abuse, and yet they expect Harry and Meghan to let them into their lives. It's not going to happen. It is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I'm glad that Harry and Meghan have put in their boundaries and stayed away from abusers. Now, Caroline says this, that Thomas Markle made his choice as an adult. We saw the private letter. It was clear what was needed to repair the damage, to have an ongoing relationship, but he chose a different path. He chose the tabloid media. The victim of abuse has no responsibility to the abuser. And children not owe their parents. Parents have a duty to children, and he has abused his. We are constantly turning the other cheek, brushing off microaggressions, smoothing the water after it's been disturbed by the unthinking behavior of those who have an inherent belief in their superiority over others, like the raw cult that is all white believes in superiority over people of color. Members of the squad, we are all equal in the eyes of God. The behavior of the critics, I call them bullies, not critics, of Meghan is yet more evidence that we are here on sufferance. So yes, detractors, we need cast iron proof and proof of this behavior from the very beginning, before any actions might reasonably be construed as reactions. We know the script is a story of our lives. The willingness to believe the worst of this woman, this person, only serves to confirm what we've already lived through. It's not just about her, it's about us, all of us, all need to learn how to make a thread. But now that's on my chest, I might not need to. Caroline said that. Members of the squad, I shared with you a tweet from Caroline, a mixed race woman who sees exactly what is happening, the bullying, harassment and smear campaign of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. The world is opening their eyes to the atrocities committed against Meghan. Members of the squad, and you love to see it. You don't owe any responsibility to your abuser. You do not one bit. You do not one bit. I like that part that Caroline just said, members of the squad. So what do you think about every single thing that Caroline just said, members of the squad? I want to hear your opinion, members of the squad. And may God bless Prince Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet Diana. And I'm glad that they have chosen love in their lives, because love shall always triumph over hate. Love will always win, members of the squad, my family. Love shall always win. And in this world, let no one ever trick you to pick hate. Let no one trick you to sell your soul to a racist tabloid. Never, ever, ever. Choose love, because love shall always win. The raw cult shall never triumph. Its hate will never triumph. Only love shall rise and stand above hate and continue to rise, members of the squad. The love of Prince Harry, Meghan, and the love that they have for their children, Archie and Lilibet Diana. May God bless Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And with that and so much more, members of the squad, stay tuned to our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support our ever-growing family on YouTube. Live family, always and forever. Sayonara. Hello, members of Zesco Family TV. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support that you give us to our channel. We don't take it for granted that you support this channel. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for lending out your support and fighting against injustices, supporting Prince Harry and Meghan, showing them love. Love will always triumph over evil, and for that I say thank you. Good will always prevail over bad. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for joining this community, this amazing community of Zesco Family TV. I love you so much, family, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best. May you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot of things. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Leave a comment below, like, and subscribe. Love you, family, always and forever. Sayonara.